why narcissists rage at you and what it really says about who you are. For a victim, dealing with a narcissist's rage and gaslighting is an emotionally draining and deeply confusing experience. At first, the rage often comes out of nowhere. One moment everything seems fine, and at the next the narcissist has exploded with anger over something minor or non-existent. The intensity of their rage is shocking, which may make you feel like you've done something horribly wrong, even if you can't figure out what. Then comes the gaslighting. After the rage subsides, the narcissist might deny what just happened, twist the truth, or blame you. They might say things like, "You're too sensitive," "I never said that," or "You're imagining things." The victim, already shaken by the outburst, starts doubting their own memory and perception. You may question yourself. Did I overreact? Did I misunderstand? This self-doubt keeps you trapped, trying harder to please the narcissist and avoid future explosions. Over time, this cycle of rage and gaslighting leads to exhaustion. The victim walks on eggshells, constantly trying to prevent the next eruption. But no matter how careful they are, it's never enough. The narcissist always finds a reason to be angry. The unpredictability keeps the victim in a state of hypervigilance, draining their energy and mental well-being. Eventually, they may feel emotionally numb, powerless, and disconnected from their own reality. The narcissist's manipulation will make you feel like you're losing yourself, leaving you mentally exhausted and questioning everything. It's like living in a psychological war zone. Constant suspense, never knowing when the next explosion will happen. One moment they might seem fine, even charming, and the next they're lashing out over something completely irrational. There's no logic to it, no pattern you can follow to keep the peace. That unpredictability is what makes it so exhausting. You're always bracing yourself, walking on eggshells, trying to anticipate their next move. But no matter how careful you are, it's never enough. They'll find a reason to be upset, to twist your words, to make you feel like you're the problem. And when it's not outright rage, it's the gaslighting, the mind games, the denial, the rewriting of reality. You start doubting yourself, questioning your own memory, feeling like you're going crazy. It wears you down over time, draining every ounce of energy until you're too exhausted to fight back. This all stems from their constant need for attention and validation. Beneath the surface, this behavior stems from fragile self-esteem and deep-seated insecurities. They constantly seek external admiration to prop up their self-image, and when they don't receive it, they can feel threatened or diminished. This need for constant attention drives their extreme reactions, like rage or gaslighting, as they try to maintain control and re-establish their centrality in every interaction. When someone challenges their self-perception or doesn't give them the admiration they crave, they may lash out to reassert dominance and redirect the focus back onto themselves. This behavior creates a very unpredictable and exhausting environment for those around them. The narcissist's rage may seem like a way to assert control or maintain an inflated self-image, but in practice it can be very self-defeating, because while they may gain short-term attention or a temporary boost to their ego, over time their tactics like rage and gaslighting push people away. This isolation reinforces the very insecurities they're trying to hide. In essence, the constant need for attention and the unpredictable behavior create a cycle that not only harms their relationships, but also leaves them increasingly isolated and vulnerable in the long run. The very behaviours they rely on to protect their fragile self-esteem, such as constantly seeking validation, manipulating others and lashing out, end up undermining their relationships and genuine connections that are essential for lasting happiness. In essence, their constant need for attention and control creates a cycle that not only alienates others, but also prevents them from experiencing the deeper, more sustainable happiness that comes from mutual trust and genuine intimacy. Narcissists have to accelerate relationships and interactions to get quick validation and admiration, essentially trying to capture the admiration they crave before their true selves, flaws, insecurities and all can be seen. This rush creates an intense initial spark, a dazzling facade that feels exciting and irresistible. However, because it's built on superficial charm rather than genuine intimacy, that spark can vanish just as fast once the mask begins to slip. The relationship deteriorates and it leaves victims isolated, and yet narcissists don't have the ability to accept feedback, which stunts their personal growth. They're emotionally unstable. They cannot experience genuine contentment or fulfillment. This is why they're always looking, and it's why they will inevitably end up disappointing you and betraying you, because they can't be happy and they can't experience inner peace, so they're always going to want more and they're always going to cause disruption. Because they feel threatened and intimidated by you, even though you did nothing to provoke their hostility. It's simply a matter of you being authentically yourself. When someone exudes genuine happiness, contentment and self-assurance, it can feel like a threat to the narcissist, whose self-worth is built on external validation and a carefully constructed facade. The victim's inner joy acts as a mirror, reflecting back the narcissist's own inability to feel that same level of true contentment. Your authenticity is an unwelcome reminder of everything they lack internally. It's as if they can sense the genuine happiness, and it stings, because it highlights their own insecurities and emotional emptiness. Rather than being inspired by your natural state, the narcissist reacts with disdain or hostility, attempting to undermine or diminish your light, in order to protect their own fragile sense of self. Their hatred isn't about something you did, but rather about you simply being yourself, an embodiment of what the narcissist secretly longs for, but feels incapable of achieving. Narcissists are threatened by people who are naturally confident and secure. When you're comfortable with who you are, you don't rely on the constant external validation that a narcissist craves. This self-assurance exposes the narcissist's own vulnerabilities and insecurities, making them feel inferior or exposed by comparison. In response, they may lash out or try to undermine your confidence. This is not because you've done anything wrong, but because your inner stability highlights what they lack. Your genuine contentment is a stark contrast to the narcissist's need for validation, and that difference is deeply unsettling for them. And this isn't just with narcissists, this is with people in general. When people see genuine confidence and security, it can trigger a defensive reaction, to where they may immediately question you or label you as being fake. This response stems from underlying insecurities. Many people, when confronted with authenticity and self-assurance, may unconsciously feel inadequate or envious as a result of their own internal struggles and fears. A lot of people are intimidated by power. People rebel against powerful figures who aren't even bothering anyone. But you will get opposition, because people in general will feel uncomfortable with that. A lot of people don't like authority, so they will hate and resent you for these qualities, even though you've done nothing to them. Because your qualities shine a light on their own insecurities, so they may react with envy or resentment, because they wish they were confident in themselves, but they're not, And this is why you can't build genuine connections. How are you meant to build a genuine connection with someone who is intimidated and envious of the qualities that make you who you are? You can't. It's impossible. Which can be very confusing and debilitating to go through it. Because it's like, how can they turn against me when I was so good to them? And I did all of this for them. But it isn't about what you did or how good you were. It's about what they're struggling with inside. It triggers them to reflect on their own insecurities and resolve issues or fear of vulnerability just by being around you. Your authenticity, confidence and positivity feels threatening to them because those qualities are insufficient in themselves. So by being around you, it only shows them just how much they are lacking. It shows them how unworthy they are to be with you. But not everyone who is envious or jealous is fake. Envy and jealousy are normal human emotions. But if someone acts on envy or jealousy by sabotaging you, it does point to deeper character issues. It reveals a lack of authentic self-awareness and the inability to confront one's own insecurities. Instead of dealing with their internal struggles, they project them outward in harmful ways. This behaviour suggests that they're not living from a place of genuine self-acceptance. It causes them to sabotage things that maybe even be good for them, because they initially admired or were attracted to the qualities you display. But then those feelings turned into envy or jealousy, and they began to view what once drew them to you as a threat to their own self-worth. This shift triggers behaviours that sabotage the very connection or opportunity that they initially wanted from you, and that was beneficial to them. Their initial admiration turns into resentment, because they feel insecure or inadequate in comparison, and in an attempt to protect themselves from those feelings, they undermine or push away what they once valued. And this is how you don't even have to do anything wrong. You might even appear perfect to others. And yet it is your authentic qualities, confidence, success and contentment that can trigger envy or jealousy in those who struggle with their own insecurities, leading them to turn from admiration to resentment and eventually even hate, because they are deeply insecure and prone to envy. So the more you excel or appear perfect, the stronger their negative reaction can be. It's not about there being anything wrong with you or you not being good enough for them. You were too good, and it made them feel inadequate. Research on narcissistic behaviour supports this idea that their rage and sabotage stem not from something you did wrong, but from their own deep-seated insecurities. Your genuine happiness, confidence or success exposes a narcissist's internal void, which triggers feelings of envy. They lash out at you or undermine you, not because you're lacking in any way, but because your qualities serve as a mirror to what they desperately wish they could embody. They rage at you and sabotage you because deep down they can't stand the sight of what they believe they themselves cannot achieve, and that becomes an automatic trigger for their defensive and destructive behaviour. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Share your thoughts in the comment section. Hit the subscribe button to receive the notifications. If you would like to support the channel, you can donate at paypal.me/Narc Survivor. You can book a one-on-one with me on my website. It's narcsurvivor.co.uk. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.